Good morning, everyone tuning in. Just have a planned 11 o'clock, just open session. I got some information that I wanted to share based on the announcements that were made this week. And then also give our families, our community, our students an opportunity to ask some questions. So I'm trying something new. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube live at the same time simultaneously. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Just a couple more minutes will allow some folks to tune in. I'll just share a little bit of information, the things that I know, and then I'll open it up for some Q&A. Good morning to everyone who's tuning in this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Like I said, just going to share a little bit of information based on our announcements that we received this week, and then we'll do some Q&A. Good morning, everyone. I do have a cup of coffee, and this is my new mug, my 2020 mug. Each year I get a new mug, and this is my 2020 version. Salud. I appreciate you all tuning in on a Saturday morning. The weather is just right for staying inside. I like your cut, G. Thanks, Elena. It's fresh. Like literally 9:30 this morning is when I got it cut. Cut, not cup. No, I got you, Elena. I was with you. I like your cup. I like your cup, G, and your cut. How about the fresh swag too? Oh, you guys are so awesome. Miss Kamensky, they're doing well. We're just waiting out this time that we need to wait out before we get back to it. Senora Garzon is at the gym doing cardio. That's awesome. Scarlett Dot here. Good morning. Hey, good morning. Good morning. All right. We've got some folks on YouTube. We've got some folks on Facebook. We got some folks on Instagram. I love it, man. This is awesome. So this is kind of like pick your outlet. We can tune in. I'm going to share everything that I know. And then open it up for some questions, some Q&A. Because of how we've set up our YouTube account, it won't allow the live chat. So I'll be able to take some questions on Instagram and on Facebook. I'll do my best to switch back and forth just to make sure I'm keeping up. I do ask. I mean, you can go ahead and start loading your questions now, and that way I can address them. Hey Bree, good morning. I hope you're feeling. I hope you're feeling well on this this cold and whatever day. It's nasty outside. I got my hoodie at on our online school store. So every 6 weeks we open it up again. Matter of fact, we just closed down on last Sunday another school store. But this is the hoodie. I think it's called like I don't know what it's called, something fleece on our school store. So next time our school store is open, make sure you get it. Make sure you get one. I like having different color hoodies. I don't have a white hoodie, so I was trying it out, a white hoodie. So it's fresh. Yeah, so Elena, when we come back, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but when it's time to come back, Elena, it won't be by last name. It'll be everyone who selects in person will be 5 days. Good coffee day. Yes, Miss Roberson, you're right. Carrie Lee, they are so comfy. They are. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is how long they are. I like my hoodies to come up, not that long. That's just me though. All right, I've got 11 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. I just have a couple of bits of information that we can jump off of. Jump off from. Just sharing the information based on our announcements this week and what we have coming up, just so we're all on the same page and keeping you informed. We all know that knowledge is power, and at Thomasdale we share the knowledge, we share the information. That way we are all empowered. And so I'll share just a little bit of the information. Well, not just a little bit. I'll share everything I know, and then we'll use that as a jumping off point for you to ask some questions that are specific for you. So first, I'll just talk about what January is going to look like, because there are everyone needs to be on the same page. So next week, we know that school is closed in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On Wednesday, that is a normal asynchronous Wednesday. You will have a seminar check-in. Students will have a seminar check-in at 11 o'clock. The next week is when things get wonky. So parents, I shared this information with you last night in my email. It's also in the Ultimate Guide. So if you're taking notes, get ready, because this is where the wonkiness starts for next week, not next week, but the week after. So the week of January 25th, just, put yourself 2 weeks from now. I just want you to put yourself in that time frame. On Monday the 25th, everything's regular. It's for cohort 4, it's a virtual day. For our cohort 1 students, they'll be coming in person. On the next day, Tuesday, January 26th, we have about 128 juniors who are coming in to take the PSAT. Our cohort 1 students will be coming in person for their classes, and everyone else will have an asynchronous day, no seminar check-in. So Tuesday, the 26th, are you with me? Tuesday, the 26th, for students, you will not have any live class meetings on Tuesday, the 26th. Students will not have any live class meetings on Tuesday, the 26th. Our cohort 1 students will be in, and so will the 128 juniors who are taking the PSAT. On the next day, Wednesday, the 27th, for our cohort 1 students, that will be an asynchronous day for them. So they're not changing their weekly schedule. But for all other students, everyone who's learning from home right now, all of our virtual students, the 27th will be an even day. So you will have all of your even day live classes will be on the 27th, on the 27th. And then 29th, that Friday, will be a fully asynchronous day, no seminar check-in. So the whole group seminar live meeting for the last week of January, you won't have any. There will be 2 asynchronous days for our virtual students, Tuesday the 26th and Friday the 29th. All right, it's wicked confusing because there are also different rules for the cohort 1 students. We're bringing juniors in for PSAT, but all of our parents have that information. I will continue to push that out on social media, but I just want to make sure you get your calendar straight as we start leading into that. All right, that's that. Here is more information that we learned. Beginning February 1st, so the first day of the third 9 weeks, the first day of the second semester, and the first day of February, February 1st, everything is moving to 5 days. So all of our cohort 1 students will be in school for 5 days a week, and all of our students, cohort 4 students learning at home, will attend classes 5 days a week. The asynchronous Wednesday, as we previously knew it, is going away. So beginning February 1st, 5 days a week of live instruction, students with your teachers, parents, your children will be tuning in five days a week beginning February 1st. On February 1st, all cohort 1, which are continuing to go, cohort 2 and cohort 3 students will begin in-person instruction 5 days a week. So for us, what does that impact? So cohorts 1, they've been coming to school. They never stopped. They've been in person. That will continue. It will now move to 5 days. And for our students who go to Tech Center, that's cohort 3. Our students who go to Tech Center, you will begin in-person instruction at the Tech Center 5 days a week. So that's just your Tech Center classes. So if you're an even day Tech Center student, every even day you're going to go to Tech Center, and every odd day you'll stay at home for virtual. And then we'll flip-flop that for an odd day Tech Center student. So an odd day Tech Center student would stay at home for virtual learning on their even day and then go to Tech Center for their odd day. Just like we did hybrid, when was that? November? Late October, November, gosh, it seems like so long ago. the students in the tech center will get on the bus at their bus stop, and they'll be taken to their middle school route where they will be bused directly to the tech center so that they can log in time for their virtual first period class. So the only students who are coming to Thomas Dale for in-person instruction are our cohort 1 students, just like they are. Cohort 3, the tech center students, you're going to be doing your stuff directly at the tech center. Even days at the tech center if you're an even day student, odd days at the tech center if you're an odd day student. I hope that definitely I hope that makes sense. You go students who drive, just like before, can drive directly to the tech center. It will be your choice if you want to try to make your first period class from home virtual and then boogie over to the tech center. I don't recommend doing that. Get to the tech center in time so you can get to class, get settled, get your mind right, log in virtually to first period classes with Thomas Dale teachers, and then do your in-person classes from tech center. So I'm gonna stop right there because I see I see some classes. I see some questions starting to go in there. All right, and some of these I haven't gotten to yet, so just let me answer some of those. I want to try to, I'll save the miscellaneous questions. All right, boom, boom, boom. All right. Transportation bed for tech center when it starts. Okay, yeah, so Ms. Robertson, I talked about transportation for tech center. All right, Ms. Reed, what time should kids arrive for the PSAT and where do they go for the exam? They can begin arriving at 8 o'clock. We will have a roster of where students can go. We are only going to test 5 students per room. So every student who comes for that PSAT will have a room that they will go to. They will be assigned to a room to take their test. All right, I'm going to continue going because some of what I'm about to say is were questions that were in there. So at some point, we have not been given a date yet. That date is to be determined. The rest of our students, our cohort 4 students, and even the cohort 3 students going to tech center will begin in person. All families will have the choice of whether or not they want to stay virtual 5 days a week or go to in-person 5 days a week. So the hybrid is not going to be a thing. It will be 5 days a week. If you select in-person, you're coming every day. If you select virtual, you're going to stay virtual every day. I have not been given any more information on a timeline because we don't have a date of return. And so a timeline for you to select whether you're going to be in-person or virtual has not been established yet. So I'll communicate that as soon as I do. What we'll do is I'll probably ask for that information directly. I'll either have something for you to fill out or a person for you to contact to be able to do that because we have to update the records. I mean, mainly it's for 2 reasons. One, because we need to know who's coming and how many to plan for. And number 2, transportation needs to know how to do their bus routes. So that's to be determined. So now I'm going to go back and answer some of these questions. Lexi, are dual enrollment students still required to go in person for those classes? No. Dual enrollment classes you will now be able to get credit for first semester and second semester with staying virtual. So that option is now on the table. Information on graduation. I do not have a definitive date, a definitive location, a definitive format. What I do know is that it'll be sometime during the week of June 7th. So we know that the week of June 7th is our graduation week. Our day, time, location, and format. You know that I will communicate as soon as I know, because I know how important that is, especially for travel, for locking in family plans. I get it. I know it. As soon as I have that information, I will get it to you. But right now, you can bank on June 7th is the week of our graduations. Ms. Erica Woolheater, 27th and 28th are both even days. Yes, that is correct. Cohort 1 began going back to the school beginning Monday, January 20th. So cohort 1 has been in school and they've been in person. That's going to continue. They switched to 5 days on February 1st. All right, Lisa Allen, I just answered the question about dual enrollment. Elizabeth Andre, a question about graduation. PSAT is done. That's done. That's been applied to. Can students have a daily reminder? Daily is going to be a little bit rough. Maybe each week we'll put out the schedule to remind students. But I'm guessing you mean the week of June 25th, and I can absolutely do that because it is a wonky week. Isaiah Childress, are we having a military ball this year? Nothing is off the table. We still have a homecoming dance on our calendar. We still have a prom on our calendar. And I have not talked with Major Turner about the military ball date. But, we will do exactly what we are allowed to do. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I have no idea when that time comes, what we will be allowed to do. But what I can promise is we will do what we are allowed to do. And if it requires us to do things a little bit differently than any of us ever imagined, even compared to what we're used to now, we will definitely explore all of those things. All right, so I'm going to go over to Instagram now. Are we taking SOLs? So right now, SOLs are scheduled. As a matter of fact, we have a small group of seniors who need some SOLs coming on the 22nd and 29th. Right now, we are looking at March as our writing SOL window and May as our spring testing window. As of right now, as I'm talking to you at 11:13 a.m. on January 16th, SOLs are still a go. All right, answered that question. Graduation, answered that question. Do we still have a virtual option when we go? Holly Jolly 220 on Instagram. Yes. We still have a virtual option when you go back. When you have to decide, and really all I'm going to ask for is, hey, if your status from the first time we did this changed, then let me know. Otherwise, we're going to keep it the same. And you can look at your status for parents on Parent View and for students on Student View to look at what your status was regarding in-person or virtual, because we didn't have 100% accurate information. Like we've got over 1,000 students who are in there for virtual. No, I'm sorry, in there for in-person. But by the last day of in-person school, right before Thanksgiving break, we had like 200 students. So I know that it's not 100%. Why did they decide on 5 days a week instead of hybrid? So just all that we've learned about the virus. That went into it. The health data, I won't call them the new metrics, but the updated metrics based on what we're learning about schools, based on what we're learning about the virus. And so the school board felt that we were in a position to begin how we've begun with 5 days a week in-person instruction, beginning with our youngest students in elementary school, and then our tech center students as well, continuing with our cohort 1 students on that, because there are 3 points to really monitor for the school board before they make the decision to say, all right, we're ready to bring in secondary students. And 2 of those huge factors, number 1, obviously watching the metrics and see how the metrics go. And number 2, seeing how things go with the students who are in person. So they will continue to remain informed as we get closer to the possibility of us coming back. I don't have a timeline, so I can't say, here's the date that we're coming back. There are those factors that will go into it. I do know that on February 9th, there will be a key decision point for the school board. So make sure that maybe pencil that in. February 9th would be a day that you want to make sure you're paying attention to. The school board work session, if you can, in the early afternoon, or the school board broadcast in the evening on February 9th. All right, I think I answered that. All right, I think I've caught up to the questions on, and here we go. All right, are we still, okay, bam. Is there going to be a prom this year? Lexi, I still have it on the calendar, May 22nd. I've not taken it off the calendar. I've asked our team who's responsible for planning it to get all the information they need to see how much it would cost for us to do one. And so what we're going to plan right now, what we're getting in, I'm just going to share with you because I have no idea what we're going to be able to do and what it's going to look like. We're pricing what it would be, what it would cost to get an enormous tent and for us to do an outdoor prom under a tent with cool lighting and decorations and stuff. So they're getting pricing right now. I have no idea if we're going to be able to do it. I just want to know how much we're going to have to spend to be able to do it. But nothing is off the table, Lexi. Nothing is off the table. Is there going to be a football season, Jaden Henderson? Yes, absolutely. There's football conditioning is going on. I believe February 4th. I might have that date wrong. I think is the first practice or first tryout date. Winter season is going on right now. We've had to pause basketball. Track and swim had a meet on Wednesday of this week. Swim has another meet on Wednesday. Wrestling was scheduled to have 2, but because of the other schools, they weren't able. Like we're supposed to be wrestling right now, but the other schools we were supposed to be wrestling weren't able to participate. So winter sports is rolling, and then fall sports will be right behind. I think football officially kicks off February 4th, and then I think the rest of the fall sports maybe that next week. Will seniors be able to exempt from SOLs? So Lexi, any student, this isn't just seniors, but any student who already has the verified credit in that subject area doesn't have to take that SOL. So most of our seniors were, if you were in an SOL, a credit-bearing verified credit course last year, and you passed that course, then you were given a passing score for the SOL. So for instance, every student in 11th grade has to take some type of VA US history. So Virginia and US history, if you were a junior last year, so currently a senior, and you took VA US history, you passed that course, you got the SOL credit attached to it, you're good to go. So for math classes, English classes, social studies, science, almost all of our seniors should be good to go. We have a handful of seniors, and that's who we're bringing in later this month on the 22nd and the 29th to get those SOLs squared away for them so that they can graduate. All right, I'm on Instagram again. ANB0410 is the decision for virtual or in person for the rest of the year, or could we change after the third 9 weeks? So what was shared with us is that the decision you make for virtual or in person is you're going to ride it out to the end of the year. Of course, I understand that if you choose in person and for some reason we got to quarantine, you have to quarantine or you get sick and you got to go to virtual for 2 weeks, you're still an in-person student and you'll remain in person. So a lot more to come on that. I don't have enough information to say with, this, here's the date, you're locked in for the rest of the year. What's graduation going to be like? I'm still on Instagram, Blueberry Limeade. I love that handle. Graduation, no idea. I don't have a date. I don't have a time. I don't have a location, and I don't have a format. So I really don't know what graduation is going to look like. Of course, every day that goes by, I'm hoping and praying we have a graduation that we're all used to. And at the same time, every day that goes by, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, because if you think about it, we're 5 months away. In 5 months, will we be in a place where we can have a couple thousand people in an arena at VCU? It might have to look different. I just don't know. What about if I skipped a year? As long as you have Blueberry Limeade, as long as you have your graduation requirements, you're ready to go. Will I still be exempt from my SOLs if I skip 11th? As long, like I said, talk with your counselor. As long as you have your graduation requirements and all of your verified credits and you're good to go, Blueberry Limeade will be getting a diploma from me somehow, some way. All right, I'm gonna come over to Facebook because I see these questions are going off. So, all right, let me catch up. All right, I've answered that. If the kids stay virtual, will they have more instruction time than they do now? So Taryn Davis, I'm on Facebook now, guys. So Taryn Davis asked a question about if the kids stay virtual, will they have more instruction time than they do now? So to begin, we know that Wednesdays are reinstituted. So 20% instructional time is going to have a kind of a natural bump by the asynchronous Wednesday going away and that becoming a regular day. I'm working with 46 actually was the number. 46 of our teachers. I'm going to pull some students aside, and I'm also going to get a parent focus group to figure out what exactly it's going to look like when we come back. I don't want to promise you what it's going to look like. Here's the thing, it's always full transparency. I would say as the proud principal of Thomas Dale, there's only one thing that really did not go as well as we wanted it to when we did cohort 4 hybrid and combined with the students. Some students were virtual and some students were hybrid. The hardest thing was the dual audiences. So the teacher being responsible for class with many students on the Google Meet virtual, and then a handful of students live and in class. That was very, very difficult. The quality went down because it was virtual. I mean, because it was dual audiences. And it really, I think it contributed to the number of students saying, you know what, I'm just going to stay home. And our in-person numbers declined every single day, went fewer and fewer students. And the other thing is that it was, our teachers are amazing, and they're doing some super hero and super shero work right now. And the dual audiences push them over the edge. That was a very difficult thing. So the thing that I don't want to repeat is that I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that looks like. And it might not be anything that we can work around. But I want to get input from our people before I put out, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm not making any guarantees. I'm not making any promises on virtual and in person. Once it's time for us to come back, I need more voices at the table. And I need more input, especially from the people it impacts, our kids, and the people who have to make it happen, our teachers. So definitely more to come. I am not in a position right now to make any promises about what that's going to look like. All right, I'm going to keep going on. When will caps, gowns, and tassels be in? Elizabeth, Andre, I'm trying to think about timeline in the past. I want to say it's like the May timeframe is when they come in. But, you know, I could be foggy because the last 10 months of our lives has felt like 10 years. I know it's in the spring. It's April, May timeframe. I don't have an exact date. Shalonda Lucas Wilson, guys, I'm still on Facebook answering these questions. So the 27th and 28th are even days. That's correct. The 29th is an asynchronous day. There are no live classes for students on the 29th. I was told my son was to take a reading SOL end of January, but she never sent me the additional information. Are they still required to take it for graduation? Hey, Christina Nickerson, do me a huge favor. Send me an email with your son's name. I'll get it to our testing coordinators because I know that we are bringing some seniors in on the 22nd and the 29th. Send me an email. We'll get you the information. Karen Ladman, if students stay virtual, will they have Thomas Dale teachers or have to switch to CCPS Online? So CCPS Online is locked in, so there will not be a CCPS Online option for students who stay virtual. They will be Thomas Dale teachers. What I'm not ready to promise you right now is who that will be. I'm not saying that there's going to be a huge shakeup. I'm not going to say it's not the same. It's just I need more input and I need more information. So I'm not making any promises on what that is and what that will look like. Our goal is obviously to minimize the impact. Our goal is to minimize the impact and maximize the learning experience for the kiddos. All students will be back in person and not split by last name. How will social distance be accomplished? So we're going to maintain the 6 feet. And I know you saw the guidelines that when 6 feet cannot be attained, then 3 feet is acceptable. We're going to do everything we can to sustain 6 feet because of what we know. And I do think we have a lot of space. I have to, before I can even begin to answer that question, I've got to get a handle on numbers. Numbers of families who plan for their students to stay virtual, and numbers of families who plan for their children and for students to return to in-person. So we're going to do everything we possibly can to maintain 6 feet. And the students who came back during that time, they can tell you, like, the way that we set it up was, absolutely completely safe. The way we did class changes, the way we set up one-way hallways and one-way stairwells and one-way floors, even in the classrooms. So I think it all depends on what those numbers are. Continuing on, questions on Facebook. Once we get to either 5 days of in-person or virtual, will virtual look the same as it does now? I just started talking about that. So Gina, I think we'll have it set up. So Gina Garcon asked if a student has to quarantine or get sick, if they choose in person quarantine and get sick and has to stay home. I'm not going to say you can't learn. I mean, it'll be in a virtual setting. I just don't have enough information. I haven't talked to enough of our people, including our students and our families, to be able to make a promise on what exactly it's going to look like and how that's going to go down. Heather Hart, will teachers be teaching students in person and online at the same time? Yeah, I was just talking about that. I answered the question about SOLs. How will social distancing work? Will kids have lunch in the seminar class or the cafeteria? So Taryn Davis, great question. Right now, because of how awesome our school did for the in-person portion, I'm reluctant to change it. The minor adjustments we made were based on timing. But our plan was solid. It was safe. Our kids were safe. Our faculty and staff were safe. I got tremendous feedback about maintaining safety and the social distancing and the way that we set it up. So right now, as I sit in front of you, I'm reluctant to change it because it was spot on. At the same time, I am getting feedback from 46 of our faculty and staff members. I'm going to pull a group of students together. I'm going to get some families together too, because I just want some feedback. I want to know some things. I don't want to make a hasty decision. I, as a high school principal, have been given the gift of time on this. And so I'm definitely going to listen to the voices and figure out, working with our people, the best way to do this. Gina Garcon, going to be one directional hallway. Yep, we're going to keep that. If our children take dual enrollment classes, do they still get an option to stay virtual? Clarissa Murray, yes. The dual enrollment can now be virtual all year long, and you're still going to be good on getting credit. All right, I'm caught up on Facebook. Let's go over here to Instagram. Boom. All right. Should we get our temperature checked and get a COVID test before coming back in person? Scarlett, that's up to you. It's not something that I can force. A daily temperature check, if you've got it at home, doesn't hurt. But those 4 questions that are on the self-assessment survey, they're spot on. As we learn more, I think that's been adjusted one time. But you monitor your symptoms and monitor your overall health. I think the number one thing that's going to help us when we have in person is that if nobody comes to school when they're sick, right? That's number one. Then after that, we've got the big 4: mask, social distancing, the sanitation that we'll do, and then the hand washing that students will be responsible for. So, there we go. When can students order cap and gown? We've already had a couple of rounds of cap and gown orders. I've asked our rep to send me another date and time so you guys can set up appointments for that. TD seniors, thank you, Dr. Jen. Thank you. Thank you. And I think that's, Allison, is that you monitoring that? I don't know. We're going back again. All right. So eventually, we don't have a date yet. We know that cohort 1 has been going the whole time. They've been with us. Cohort 2 and cohort 3 are going to be going back starting February 1st as well. And 6, yeah. So beginning on February 1st, everything goes to 5 days. Excuse me, everything. So our cohort 4 students who are virtual, 5 days a week virtual, the asynchronous Wednesday is going away. And all students who begin in-person instruction, cohorts 1 will continue. And then cohort 2 and cohort 3 will be 5 days a week in person. I see you. Look at that. I think I caught up. Look at that. Let's go. 3 platforms. I mean, I can't claim YouTube because the YouTube live chat feature is not enabled There are 7 people tuning in to YouTube, so shout out to the 7 people on YouTube tuning in. We've got some mainly students on Instagram. I do see Delegate Coiner on there too. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? And then we've got some. All right, here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Taryn. Ooh. You guys are catching up now. So I caught up to you and I got a little cocky. So you thought, you know what? I'm going to send you some more questions. If kids come home feeling sick, do they need a negative test before they can come back, or parents' best judgments? So we don't have in writing a protocol for return. What is on the table is following the CDC guidelines of a 14-day quarantine versus a 10-day isolation. You guys know, well, let me explain the difference. An isolation happens when there's a positive test, a positive case. Quarantine happens when there is close contact with a positive case. So I think monitoring the symptoms, following the days out guidelines from the CDC. There has been talk about, and I don't think, it's been for our sports. So our sports has been a little bit different, but that's definitely Taryn, that's a question I'll definitely take up. Right now, we don't have a protocol in place for when a student can come back. Barbara Kaminsky, starting 2-1, will the time of classes remain the same? Yep. Yes, ma'am. What we wanted to commit to was not having to make drastic changes to the schedule a bunch of times. We had a schedule at the beginning of the year. We changed the schedule when it was time for hybrid. And then once we had 2 weeks of data, remember we said we were going to make a small adjustment to reduce the number of time between classes. So the schedule we have is the schedule that I want to keep for the rest of the year. So I don't want to keep flip-flopping with time. So the class times that we have now are going to be locked in for the rest of the year, if it's up to me. Even though I graduated in 2006, I still rock my Dale hoodie. Got 2 of them. That's awesome, Caitlin Williams. All right, boom. Do we have to? All right, now I'm over on Instagram now. I'm going to guess is that Heidi? Heidi 16. Do we have to sign a form or something if we want to go back? Yeah, there will be. What we're going to go off of is what our students are signed up to be, whether that's in person or virtual in our system now, which for students it's student view and for parents it's parent view. When I have information about our date of return, because every day that goes by gives more information to parents, families, and students to make that decision. So if I ask you now, but we find out we're not coming back until much later, like you might change your mind. So I'm not going to ask you to take a survey twice or to email me and say, hey, I want to be in person. And then 4 weeks later, you say, I want to be virtual. And then, oh no, Jones, I changed my mind again. I want to avoid that for all of us, for you and of course for me. Selfishly. So when the time comes, you will have the opportunity to either opt for in-person or opt for virtual. Still on Instagram, K Lewis 2. I'm guessing that's my boy Kylan. Are they letting us finish the season or are we out for the year? No, sir. We are still on. So as soon as our period of time that we got to pause is done, we'll be back at it. MSB in the middle as a parent, we appreciate that. Awesome. Whatever that was that you appreciate, I love it. I'll keep doing it. All right, back over here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, here we go. I am saving my non-pink one for my son. Nice. Is it, here we go. Antoinette Wilson, is it mandatory for dual enrollment for my daughter to go in person to receive her full credit? No, Ms. Wilson, on Thursday, we just received information that dual enrollment staying virtual is approved for the rest of the year to get to receive the credit. So they're good. You're good to go. If we purchase senior orders online, do they get sent to the school or the home address? That's a great question, Jamie. What I remember in the past, yeah, I'm not even going to speculate. I think special things that you ordered go to the. Yeah, I'm not going to make it up. Let me find out, Jamie Bunch. I'll find out. Can you do me a huge favor, Jamie? Can you shoot me an email with that question? And I'll connect you right to the rep. Michelle Stevens, are you moving forward with volleyball tryouts in season? Yep, absolutely. I think volleyball tryouts are starting February 11th, right in there, right in that mid-February timeframe. So we're still on schedule. As a matter of fact, we're working with officials right now on getting the season started. Getting the season scheduled for officials for volleyball. Still on Facebook here, Taryn Davis. I'm asking a lot of questions, and I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Fire away. I believe lunches and breakfasts have been covered this school year. Is that accurate, or do we pay for that like we would normally do? You're spot on. The meals from school are 100% free for the entire school year. That's awesome. Thank you. Yep, you're welcome. Awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Sure. Thank you. Awesome. Look at that. Pow. Love it. Is there going to be soccer tryouts this year? 804 Marlin, soccer tryouts. Yes. I want to say mid to late March. I don't have the timeline off the top of my head, and I can't use my computer because I'm streaming YouTube from my laptop. So I don't have the exact date, but yes, the spring season is going to be. It might be mid-April that we're doing. It might be mid-April to the end of the June. So right now, spring season is scheduled to actually go past the end of the school year. One thing that was important to VHSL, because spring sports were canceled last year, no spring sport athlete got a season last year. They want to make sure that winter is getting a 60% season, fall is getting a 60% season, and VHSL wanted to make sure that spring sports got a full season. So I believe it's mid-April through the end of June for spring. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. My throat's getting a little bit dry. I'm talking too much. You're asking great questions. I'm going to stick over on Instagram for now, and then I'll come back over to Facebook for your questions. I know there's PSAT testing soon, but when is ACT test? Oh, awesome. Is this Kai next door over on Instagram over here? So February... February 6th, we are actually hosting the ACT. So go to the ACT website to sign up for a test that you want to take. We're green lighted. February 6th is the next one that we're offering. I think you've missed the deadline to sign up for that one. So it might be the March administration, and College Board might be setting up more administrations of that. So definitely go and sign up for the one that you want to take. We are running them. The next time that we'll have that test going is Saturday, February 6th. Mrs. Bowers 03. I'm still on Instagram. If students return 5 days a week, how will you mitigate infection rates, and what is the infection rate that would send everyone back virtual? So I can't answer the second part of that question, Mrs. Bowers. The question that I can answer is our mitigation strategies were strong. I stand by them 100%, 365 days a year, 24/7, however you want to break that down. Our mitigation strategies as a county, all CCPS schools, but I only speak for Thomas Dale, we crushed it. Our kids were safe, our faculty was safe, our staff was safe. The big four mitigation factors, here it is, and the research shows, and the health experts and everybody, if you nail these big four, then you reduce the infection rates and maximize the mitigation. Mask, 6 feet, sanitation, hand hygiene. If we that's the big four right there, and we nailed it as a school, and I stand by that 1,000%. How are they going to do graduation? What is the date? All right, I've already answered that question. Kylan, it's week of June 7th. I don't have a date. I don't have a time. I don't have a location, and I don't have a format. So I don't have a specific day and time. I don't have a location. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I just know that it'll be during the week of June 7th. Tree Politics, thank you for all you're doing thank you. You're welcome. All right, Miss Mazzola's on here answering questions. I love it. Mrs. Bowers, will masks be required for practice and play in sports? That is how many travel teams are doing it, and it is working well to keep infection rates down. It's something that I'll definitely bring to the table. Right now, it's when you're actively playing, you can take the mask off, but when you're not actively playing, the mask goes back on. Dual enrollment, you can still stay virtual and receive full credit. This is Blimo. I'm going to mess your handle up. Blimo Sumo. You know who you are. Dual enrollment students can stay virtual and still get the credit. We just learned that on Thursday. Thanks, cool. Appreciate it. You the man. No, Kylan, you're the man. All right. Caught up on this. Look at that. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Jamie Bunch. I'm over on Facebook now. Jamie Bunch. When they go to the 5-day week in February, does their seminar schedule revert back to the old schedule? So there's the schedule for Wednesday will be the same as it is for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I have not, I want to chat with the team I have planning. We've got 46 teachers and faculty and staff members who are giving feedback, and we're going to work through what a plan is going to be. What has come across has been a couple of different things. One of those things would be that we keep Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday with the one-on-one check-ins, and then Wednesdays like an 11 o'clock seminar live session. So I don't have 100% what that's going to look like, Jamie, but we are definitely working on what that's going to be. But I do not plan on changing the bell schedule. Our community, all of us, our community, we need stability and consistency more than we need anything else. And I don't think you would disagree with that. I hope you wouldn't disagree with that. If I can have some type of control over stability and consistency, then I will exercise the control over that. And the way we set up the bell schedule was intentional, so that we don't have to make a change to it, no matter if a student's virtual or in person, or we got to go back and forth, whatever. That will remain consistent. Joe, how you doing, Joe Pena? What can parents do to help teachers come? That's a good question. I'll get back to you if I think of something. Taryn Davis, I know a lot of fees were waived this year for specials and whatnot. My child should be doing behind the wheel, I assume. Yes. So Taryn Davis, there were very few things that we couldn't waive a fee for. Behind the wheel, because it's not a school-based thing. Behind the wheel and dual enrollment were two fees we just couldn't waive. Amen. Thank you so much. Jamie, you're welcome. All right. Yes. Blimo Simo, yes, the whole year. All right. Look at that. Caught up. Oh, supplies. Let me reach out to our teachers, Ms. Pena. We've done a good job we've bought a lot as a school to support our teachers. I'll find out if there's anything out there that they would like, and then I'll definitely reach out. Christina Jordan, how will behind the wheel work for virtual children? So behind the wheel is an in-person thing. So whether you're virtual or not, you sign up for a time slot, and you got to do it in person. It's literally, you got to be in the car with the instructor. So behind the wheel is an in-person thing. You don't have to be fully in person. You can be a virtual student and then show up for your behind the wheel sessions with the instructor. Joy Prickett, will classes continue to be about 30 minutes synchronous and the remainder of the block asynchronous? I'm not going to make that promise right now. I'm assuming yes, but I don't want to make that as a promise, because I do want to work with our people, and I do want to get feedback. I want to get feedback from the 46 faculty and staff I'm working with now. I'm going to get a group of students together and a group of families together to really gather that feedback, because I there's a lot that goes into that. All right. Yes, Christina Jordan, there will be a time slot. Christina Jordan, yep. All right. Does the instructor pick the kids up for behind the wheel, or do kids come to the school and get in a car? Barbara Kaminsky, students who take behind the wheel come to the school. Our school cars are parked. If you drive by the school, you will always see 3 cars parked side by side in the front of the main campus. Those are the 3 behind the wheel cars. And so students come, they get dropped off, they get into the behind the wheel, and then they go do their driving with the instructor. Cameo Fox is 6 feet. If 6 feet is one of the mitigation strategies for CCPS, why are elementary students going to be 3 feet apart, 2 to a seat on the bus, etc.? I'm not going to begin to speak for it. I do know that mitigation factors are put into place to maximize 6 feet. And when 6 feet is not possible, 3 feet is acceptable. Amy Spencer, can both of my daughter's twins do behind the wheel together? Yeah, so it has to be 2 students with the instructor. We're very specific about an instructor not being alone with 1 student. So it's a minimum of 2 students. And I don't think I've ever seen it with 3 students, but there will be 2 students. And so Amy, hopefully if you can grab the time slots together, because that might be your bigger challenge, is guaranteeing the same time slots for the twins. All right, I'm ahead. Hop back over to IG questions. Students get on a sports team and are virtual. How will they get to practice if the parent cannot take them? Will buses run to pick up? So Mrs. Bowers 03, if all sports, you're really responsible for the transportation to and from the school. We will provide a bus to away games and away events, almost all of them. But if you stay virtual and you elect to play a sport, you're responsible for getting the child to practice or to the school when it's time to gather for an event. Taryn Davis, does it behind the wheel go into the summertime? I'm asking because appointments for the DMV to get permits are way out right now. Taryn Davis, that's a great question. I remember, I'm not saying this with 100% confidence, but I'm saying it with a high level of confidence that behind the wheel goes on during the summer. I don't know if it's beginning and end or if there's some in the middle, but Taryn, if you shoot me an email to ask me that very same question, I'll put you in touch with our behind the wheel coordinator, and Coach Rogers will be able to answer that. All right. Doing pretty good. I think I'm caught up. So keep firing away. You guys are asking great questions. Uh-oh, my battery's running low on my laptop. Hey, Suzanne. She can't hear me because she's got some AirPods in. I wonder if she's tuning in to this live. Suzanne. Hey, can you go in my book bag and get my laptop charger? My battery's about to die. All right, here we go. I'm on Facebook now. Shalonda Lucas Wilson. What grade age for behind the wheel? Is it after the learner's permit? So behind the wheel, students are eligible for behind the wheel once they complete their driver's ed. They get this driver's ed completion card. It's green. We call it the green card. I know it's not the best thing that we could possibly call it. But that's when they're eligible to do that. Beyond that, I don't know. Obviously, there are age restrictions. But that would be maybe a DMV question. There's probably parents on here who know the question to that. Get into the back there. Yeah, it's back here. Thanks, baby. Have we heard anything about SOLs? Yeah, so SOLs are still on.